it was announced that Elizondo was going to be coming out with a new book that is titled Reckoning the Unspoken Truth About UFOs and the Urgency of Now. Allegedly, it will be released in August of 2026. And there was a description on the official HarperCollins website for this book. HarperCollins were the ones, I believe, that published his first book. I could be wrong on that. I'm not sure.
I think that's right.
I think it was, Stan. Yeah. The description said, for decades, governments have concealed the truth about UAPs, but now the silence is cracking and the consequences of secrecy are becoming impossible to ignore. In Reckoning, Luis Elizondo, former head of the Pentagon's secretive UFO program, delivers an urgent wake-up call. UAPs are real, the evidence is undeniable, and our future depends on how we respond. Drawing on previously undisclosed evidence, global history, and groundbreaking science, Elizondo reveals why this is not just about strange lights in the sky. It's about technology, security, faith, and the very identity of humankind. This is the pivotal moment. Will we evolve into a species ready to face the truth or retreat into denial and risk catastrophe? Now, I would say a week ago, that description was up on HarperCollins, and I'm not, maybe I am screaming conspiracy, but as soon as like people started talking about this book, Reckoning, it was taken down. I went to the link and the title was gone. And yeah, I don't know what to make of this. Like, is this actually a new book coming out by Elizondo? Less than 2 years after his other one. What do you guys think? What do you think? Dan, I'm going to throw this to you. I'm going to put you on the spot. I know that, we've all met Elizondo. We've hung out with him, his family, super nice guy, super awesome family. But yeah, you be the one who I know has probably met with him the most. Is there anything you can share? If not, I completely understand. But what do you make of this story that I just vomited out?
So for me, like, looking at it as if I don't know Lou, seeing that page go up and then people talking about it and the page go down, to me, that's confirmation. That's like, oh, we didn't mean that to be out quite yet. And people are talking about it, so we're just going to pull it back and not worry. It also happened with his last book. That showed up.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's happened twice now.
Well, yeah, project.
Right? And last time a few chapters actually leaked from the book, right before it came out. And that was said to be, because when you look at what leaked from the book, it was the more outlandish stuff, about remote viewing and going to appearing to a terrorist in his cell as like, a figure when remote viewing and stuff like that. So again, it's one of those games where I'm like, was this leaked on purpose to kind of pull the rug out from underneath this book because it's the more outlandish stuff that you're including? But I will say that Andy knew to look because I nudged him. And I knew to nudge him because Lou talks to me about these things. And yes, I mean, I can confirm it. It's a book that's coming. I don't know when it'll be released. I can't say if the description is accurate. I don't know. I haven't read any of it. I just know that it's in the works. And really, it makes sense that it's in the works too. I just went on the Amazon page for Lou's first book. And it says, like, at the top of the description, instant #1 New York Times bestseller, instant USA Today bestseller, instant #1 Sunday Times bestseller. There's nothing that does well in this world, in the media world, that they won't push for a sequel for. And I only hope that it's not, diminishing returns like other sequels. But I'm excited to read it. There was a little suggestion in the blurb there that there's going to be undisclosed stuff included in there. So yeah, I'm excited to read it. And I'd say if you're someone out there that, questions Lou, or you don't want to support him, or you don't want to spend money on this stuff, buy Ryan's book that's coming out, or get it from a library. Sign up to Amazon Prime and, get it from there so that you're not paying specifically for it. And then you can still be informed, because it's better to be informed when you're talking about this stuff than it is to just run your mouth, with feelings.
For sure. Yeah, which I am guilty of a lot of the time too. But again, that's why you guys are here, to level me out.
That was well
Suzanne, what
said.
do you think about
I couldn't
this?
say it any
Is
better
this
than
the
that.
reckoning of Luis Elizondo?
I don't know. And sometimes it's as simple as not everything can be in a first book, and maybe there's a second one that contains more information. I know nothing about this from behind the scenes. I have zero special information. So I think we're just going to have to wait it out and then read it and analyze it. And I'm sure we'll be talking about it on the show with everyone. And hopefully it will be all those things that Dan was reading out, a New York Times bestseller, blah, blah, because every piece of water raises the tide that raises all the boats.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah.
So true.
I look forward to it. Yeah. The first book was a page turner for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to whatever comes next. I see all your comments, guys. I will get to a lot of these. Again, I do want to remind you your code word for tonight for your Apple Podcast reviews and Spotify comments is reckoning. So be sure to put that somewhere in your reviews as well. Now you know why we put that up there. Lucy, hello to Lucy, one of our regulars. I do want to touch on this. Does Jay Stratton's book have a release date? Yeah, it's crazy. Andy was even saying this. Like, I can't believe we're getting 2 Elizondo books before the Jay Stratton book comes out. Anyone have any whispers on that? Dan, have you heard anything about Jay Stratton?
No release dates. I'm hearing it still with DOPSA for clearance.
Yeah.
But, so would Lou's book be. So I'm a little confused as to why James's doesn't have a placeholder. Jay's book doesn't have a placeholder popping up or anything like that. But that's another book that I'm looking forward to. They're both pieces of this puzzle we're trying to build. So it's important that we can look at these things and contrast and compare and see who did what. And I know Lou's been very upfront since he came forward, kind of saying, some of this isn't my story to tell. I can only tell you what I experienced. And so, there'll probably be like the odd contradictions in the same way there would be as if I worked in an office with you two and we would ask like, what did you guys talk about yesterday? And I'd be like, oh, we spoke about XYZ, and you guys might not even remember we had those conversations. So we have to remember the human part of these stories and just pour them all together like a big puzzle piece,
Yep, absolutely. All right, Spicy Ryan's going to start oozing in here, guys. I do apologize. I got it. Before we move to the next story, get it ready. Make sure the batteries are at full. I do want to ask you this, Dan, again, kind of putting you on the spot. And again, I know this is because you do stay in touch with Elizondo, I think more than some of us do. Elizondo made an interesting remark recently when David Grush came forward to say that he was the only military person to really bring all of this stuff forward. Elizondo did kind of bite back, and I'm glad he did. I think it was a very blunt way of saying like, hold on, dude. Like, like we said, all ships, raise the tide. Elizondo said, "Oh, the only one, huh?" So I'm like, "Oh no, are these guys like fighting?" The like little drama monger in me started coming out. Was it just in like an off the cuff remark, or like, what do you guys think? I don't even. This isn't even worth discussing. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I can't say that I've spoken to Lou about it. I haven't, nothing's come up. We've spoken about Jay Stratton a little bit, and Grush, Lou put me on the phone with Grush when I visited him, and they were very cordial and friends. And same with Jay Stratton, there's stuff out there about their relationship and how Stratton and Stratton's wife feels about Lou. And all I'd say is that just remember, this is social media. People love drama on social media. It doesn't mean it's reflected in real life. If you've seen Age of Disclosure, you saw Lou and Jay sat shoulder to shoulder presenting this issue together. That's the thing to take away from this, not like, maybe Lou parked on the wrong side of the house once when he came to visit, but that's probably all that's bad,
Yeah, he didn't do the dishes when he stayed overnight.
Right.
I love it.